Imagine you're standing in a damp workshop in Nottingham, England, and it's 1811. The air smells like machine oil and desperation. You're holding a sledgehammer, and in front of you is the machine that just stole your children's future. You swing. You think you're fighting a frame loom, but you're actually fighting the birth of the modern financial world. We call these men Luddites, and for 2 centuries, we've laughed at them. We called them ignorant. We said they didn't understand progress. But as we sit here in 2026, watching AI rewrite the global economy in real time, it turns out the Luddites weren't wrong, they were just early. Welcome to Paradox of Finance. The story we're told in school is simple. Machines make things faster, prices go down, and everyone gets richer. It's a clean, beautiful lie. The reality is much messier. Before the Industrial Revolution, a skilled weaver was the upper middle class of their day. They worked from home, set their own hours, and earned a dignified living. Then came the power loom. Suddenly, a job that took years to master could be done by a 10-year-old forced to work 14 hours a day in a dark factory. The productivity of England skyrocketed. The stock market of the time boomed, but for the actual workers, wages didn't just stall, they cratered. Economists call this Engels Pause. It's a terrifying 40-year gap where the economy grows. The rich get significantly richer, but the people doing the work see their standard of living drop into the dirt. Sound familiar? If you look at a chart of American productivity versus wages since the 1970s, you'll see the exact same ghost appearing. We are living through the second great pause, and this time, the sledgehammers won't work because you can't hit a line of code with a hammer. The paradox of 2026 is that we are more productive than any human civilization in history, yet the feeling of wealth is evaporating for the average person. In the 1800s, the wealth shifted from the hands of the craftsmen to the owners of the dark satanic mills. Today, that wealth is shifting from the hands of the cognitive class, the writers, the coders, the analysts, to the owners of the massive server farms. History shows us that during these transitions, the middle gets hollowed out first. It's a brutal financial restructuring that the history books sanitize, but the bank accounts of the time felt every bit of the pain. So, how did the original Luddites lose? They focused on the machine. They thought if they broke the technology, they could go back to 1800, and they couldn't. The lesson for us today isn't to fight the AI or the automation. It's to realize that in a world of infinite supply, the only thing that holds value is what cannot be replicated. In 1820, that was land and factory ownership. In 2026, it's a different kind of asset. We are seeing a massive rotation of capital into real-world assets, energy, raw materials, and specialized infrastructure. The digital gold rush is over. We've entered the physical reality era of finance. But there's a twist that most people miss. While the Luddites were being crushed, a new class of investor was born. These were the people who realized that the old world was dead and stopped trying to save it. They stopped investing in the skills of the past and started investing in the infrastructure of the future. The real money wasn't made by the people using the machines, or even the people building them. It was made by the people who financed the transition. We are currently in the most volatile part of the cycle. The air is thick with the same tension that filled those English workshops 200 years ago. You can feel it in the housing market, in the volatility of the dollar, and in the way every safe job suddenly feels fragile. The Luddites weren't stupid. They were the first people to realize that progress and prosperity are not the same thing. One is a statistic for the government, the other is the money in your pocket. If you've stayed with me this far, you're likely feeling that same shift in your own life. You see the headlines about record-breaking markets while your grocery bill tells a completely different story. That is the paradox of finance in action. We are repeating a chapter of history that most people have forgotten, and those who forget the middle of the book usually hate how it ends. I want to know your take on this. If you had to bet on one thing that AI or automation can never replace in your specific career, what is it? Drop a comment below. I'm curious to see which industries you think are truly Luddite-proof. If this deep dive into the hidden side of history helped you see the 2026 economy a bit more clearly, hit that subscribe button and join us here at Paradox of Finance. We don't just track the numbers, we track the patterns. And if you know someone who's worried about their seat in this new economy, share this video with them. Understanding the past is the only way to not get crushed by the future. The hammer didn't work in 1811, and it won't work now. The only way out is through. I'll see you in the next one.